There's so fucking many.
The worldwide government is way smarter than we give them credit for because they have us believing they don't do nothing. But the truth is, like there's no such thing as the government is in bed with the internet. No, the internet is a government installation that they allowed the world to use for free so that they could have the information willingly because you're on it.
That's what it became.
Exactly.
But I think
that's
it's
what it
just
was
the
to
progression.
become.
You think so?
Yes.
I think the progression of technology oftentimes leads itself to, like, even cell phones. At first, it was Michael Douglas walking on the beach in Wall Street, looking amazing with that brick, carrying that big brick. Like, look at that guy. He's got a phone with no cord. He's out on the beach. This is insane. To everybody having a phone.
But not to everybody, because those in the ham radio community and people with the CBs, they didn't feel like that was cutting edge because it really wasn't. Like
It's still cutting edge to be able to walk around with a device. It's a leap in technology.
Here's the thing. When you look at all of our inventions, that's when you know that these space encounters were real, because we only have advancement in a couple of industries in the world, and everything else is nothing. So like the microwave that they had 30 years ago, it looks the same as the same microwave now. Why? Because it was done as a military thing. It was supposed to be a weapon, and then they found out, it heats up food, and they put a door on it. And so it hasn't changed at all because invention is very difficult. And
do you subscribe to the idea that we get back engineered?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why those leaps, we don't see those leaps in anything else, is my point. Like
yeah. There's so much
real
speculation about the creation of a bunch of different things that came out of Roswell. Fiber optics.
Right, but remember 20 years ago, 15 years ago, this is crazy talk.
Crazy talk,
but
now it's
but
New York
it's
Times.
not. Like, it's at the point, at this point, like, Area 51 would have to be doing something.
They were definitely doing something.
Right.
Yeah.
And nobody's telling a differing story as to what it is.
Right.
Like, people have great imaginations all through history. They could make up something. The only damning information is if you read 3,000 accounts of these entities and realize, wait a minute, why is everybody describing the same couple of beings?
Right.
Like, there's no outliers. Like,
there's like 3 different things they describe. Yeah, they said that the documented 8 to 12.
We're not talking about English-speaking people. We're talking about worldwide. Right.
Worldwide.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what is striking.
Indigenous people in Australia drew them. Yeah.
Right. Nobody's saying anything outlandish. And
No.
that's what you get to when you go religiously or...
Well, the alien thing is a bit of a religion to a lot of folks. They don't want to believe anything's
It's a necessary component.
Yeah.
Whatever religion you're a part of, at some point it says
You were contacted.
that there was a fight in heaven and, this happened and that happened.
Yep. Every
And-
single one of them.
Everyone, nobody's telling a different story.
Right.
Everybody's telling the same stories.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you know that vagina and gold are universal things, because in everybody's story, none of these otherworldly entities had any interest in anything other than women.
And gold.
Right, pussy or gold. Like, because and you understand that now when you start learning about what's in space, because you can see that any element or any commodity that we sell here is abundant in space, like trash. um they found one meteor that was worth all the money.
On Earth.
Yeah, 770 billion.
No, it's
Trillion. It was
whatever
another
it is.
number. It's some
crazy number.
Right, right. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they know that there's spots in space that have abundant minerals that are very valuable. And the thing about the Sumerian story, the Sumerian text story, real life story may make everyone a billionaire on this earth. Everyone would be a billionaire.
But
Every person would earn several billion dollars.
So it sounds jokey, right? But understand, somebody got this contract. Like, they
Right.
broke this up into several worldwide contracts. Like,
10,000 quadrillion.
It's just there.
But here's the thing. If you got that much gold, is gold valuable anymore? Because one of the things about gold is that there's not that much of it. If you look at, you ever seen the number of gold on Earth?
That's not necessary in capitalism. They showed us that with diamonds.
That's true. They could hide
it. It is about the perception of things. And if I buy up all of something, it is rare now. Immediately.
Right.
Just because I have control of all of it.
Right.
And that is worth killing Tesla over.
Mm.
And that's why
Yeah.
the people are still in business in Hollywood, because everything's a commodity.
Did you ever read, you ever heard of Zecharia Sitchin? Zecharia Sitchin was a biblical scholar who he deciphered the Sumerian texts, and he's like an expert in language. And when he deciphered he might not have been a biblical scholar, might have just been a language expert. But either way, he deciphered these texts and wrote these books about the real meaning behind everything they were saying. And he said that the reason why we are so fascinated with gold is that the Anunnaki literally would have us mine gold for them because they needed it to protect their atmosphere. So what they would do is take gold, which is a very rare in what it does. What gold can do is you can take a little piece of gold like this big and coat this entire table. It's real weird.
Right.
So you could turn into a fine dust, and they suspended this fine dust in their atmosphere to protect them from a degrading atmosphere because they were getting global warming or whatever.
Everybody that was...
He wrote about this in the 70s.
It doesn't matter, because everybody in Egypt knew it. Like, this is where the alchemy...
Yeah, that's where it all originated.
Right.
Well,
like,
we don't even know what they knew.
None of those people are saying, hey, I came up with this shit. They're saying...
Right, somebody gave it to us.
Somebody who came from this place here came and told us that this is how this goes and this is what this is worth.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying the people that were being abused in the mines going to get the diamonds, it wasn't like that for them. It was just them getting these rocks. And this crazy guy's going to pay a day's wages for us to gather rocks. Let's gather them.
Right.
This is... But when you follow back, it's all about the information. And at the top of it, nobody's trying to claim it. Like, nobody's saying...
Right, I invented this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is wild. If imagine this, that's how we're getting most of our shit, back engineered stuff they leave for us. We have to figure it out, sort through it. The people that have alien technology, if the people that do have an alien craft that they work on, what a weird reality you must live in. The whole rest of the world's got guessing, and you got this thing in front of you, like, oh, it's real. We have one. I could show it to you.
That's how everybody in Space Force will have to feel, right?
Right, they must. How many of them you think see shit?
I'm saying, how do you think Elon Musk really feels? Like,
I don't think he's going to tell you.
No, I'm saying in his head, can he still have a superhero? Or is he one of them?
Ooh.
He's one of them. Like,
if you're the richest dude in the world and you're also a super genius, how the fuck do you stop yourself from thinking you're a superhero? That's the big question.
No, it's not like that.
No?
No, it doesn't have superhero side effects to it.
I mean, you would probably think.
The more you know, the more you know how little you know.
That's true, too.
There's not you know what I mean? And nobody has ownership of information. That's why reading books moves civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like when I said, like, you know, I read 3,000 books, people were like, yeah, right. But, you know, everything in life is about the environment it was grown in, the petri dish, right? So if I told you that from the time I was 8 to the time I was 12, I never celebrated any birthdays. I never went to a birthday party. I never had a Thanksgiving, a Christmas. I never trick-or-treated. I wasn't allowed to watch movies, and I wasn't allowed to watch TV. All I could do was read. If I told you that, then you would understand that for 8 hours a day, I got 8 hours, and I can read, and I love to read. And so I'm reading books that are 250, 200 pages, and it takes me about an hour to read one. So yeah,
It takes you an hour to read
I'm reading
150 pages?
8 a day. Yeah, like all I'm doing is reading, because that's what. So I'm checking out 20 books. The limit at the library is 20 books at one time. So I'm going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday just because this is my thing. Like,
So you're getting 60 books a week?
Minimum, because
Really?
yeah, because I'm reading more than that, because I still have religious books that I have to read. So understand this is pre-internet first,
Right?
So understand that in reading one thing that I'm reading, right,
Right.
this one thing that I'm reading is also requiring me to have this appendix book that is the source book that it's telling me it's getting these things from. And so I've got 4 books open at a time just for this one book. Like, but yeah, so first, I guess between 8 and 12, I can read classics and nonfiction. So I'm saying no novels or anything like that. I'm just reading Time Life has like 1,800 of these individual books on all subjects of the world. And
So you just spent most of your time reading?
not most, all of it.
All of your time reading. And then when did it
That was my thing, because like I was able to be in each of these stories. You follow what I'm
Right.
saying? And I was getting so much information. Like half of those I probably had to write a 1-page report on after, you know. But yeah, that was my whole thing. And the numbers aren't even really accurate, because I read more than that. Because like sometimes I would read something and I wouldn't get it. Like there was this classic book called Little Women that I probably read it 4 times because I just didn't understand it, and I knew it was a classic, but
I never read it. What's it about? Have
about
you read it, Jamie?
some Little Women.
I was a kid. I just watched an episode of Curb where they were talking about it.
What is the story about?
Here's the thing.
Sisters, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Like 4 sisters think
Okay.
that, okay? But they had money and an incredible circumstance. But the thing was, I didn't have any sisters, so I didn't have anything to pull from, and I didn't have women in my life like that. So, yeah, a lot of things I would have to read multiple times for me to get.
Right, to try to think how they thought.
Right. Well, yeah, like even like the Three Musketeers. Like I probably read it 3 times because it was so. I read it like the first time to read it, but then the next time I had to read it again because these characters were really distinct characters.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out, wait a minute, did this happen really in history, or was somebody just this good at telling this story of But it's things like that leads you to the Knights Templar story, which leads you to, seeing how things through history have remained. You know what I mean? Like, all of that you get from the books.
Well, history to me has always been the most fascinating thing because you can't quite imagine it. You're trying to imagine it, you're piecing it together, listen to these stories, and you just sit back and go, what the fuck was that like?
Right.
And that
Which
wasn't
is
even
what
that
we
long
create
ago.
every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we're creating the future's version of what the fuck was that like. This place right here freaks me out the most because this area, specifically this area of Texas, the Hill Country, was just all Native Americans forever. There's thousands of arrowheads, man. Look at this.
Here's the
My friend
thing.
found this on his ranch.
None of those people, when we say those people, none of them picked a bad place ever.
No.
That's when you understand that there's a grid.
Yeah.
Because nobody's holy people picked bad spots.
No.
Everybody understood certain things about the area, and long before they had X-ray machines. And
Yeah.
if you just went by that in the whole world, you would start to understand, like, the true power of the Vatican and the fact that certain things are based on real shit, like the Ark of the Covenant ain't some spooky little story. It's
What do you think
like,
it is? Think it's like a nuclear generator or something like that? What do you think it is?
Whatever the nucleus is that would nuclearly power something that would have initially been in the pyramids would also have been in the Ark of the Covenant, which would be the same thing. It's something that you can't fuck with, and it's radioactive, and it's very powerful.
That's why they
but
gotta
it
put all
still
those rocks
has to
around
be.
it. Oh, shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Imagine-
Nobody's telling any crazy stories, my man. Not globally.
No.
No. Everything.
Well, it gets
was
less
about
crazy
something.
every year. It gets less crazy every year.
Yeah.
20 years ago, talking about any of this stuff was straight up nonsense.
Yes.
But now people are like, hold on. That's probably what disclosure actually looks like. It looks
Yes.
like a slow trickle integration into the zeitgeist to the point where it's just normal.
Because a lot of times they're right. A lot of
Yeah.
times it turns out that they were right, that no, we couldn't have told people this because, they would have went and this would have happened and that would have happened. And you can start to see that. Like,
Yeah. That's why when you think about what people have always believed, that's why angels and devils freak me out. Because no one wants to believe that there's a Satan, that there's a devil.
You
that
believe
there's-
in astronauts, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But people have always said there is.
You mean a bad and a good?
Yeah, not just a bad and a good, but an actual evil, malevolent force.
No, just start with bad
Okay,
and good.
yes, bad and
okay,
good,
so
yeah.
if we started bad and good, then we understand what must be at the extremes of that.
Right.
Nobody's telling a different story.
And then there's a concept of actual entities.
Yes.
Actual demonic entities that do exist.
Well, I'm saying your DNA is either fused or it's not. If it is, it requires a fuser. That's all.
A fuser.
Right.
What do you mean by that?
I'm saying if they tell you that certain parts of your DNA are fused, that requires a fuser. Did I say that right?
I'm not sure. I see what you're saying. The structure to us in everything, all of it, does seem remarkable.
In a no mistakes type of way.
Yeah, and in a synchronistic